Welcome back to the Doctor Next Door. I'm your host, Dr. George Corday. I have a really special guest today, my neighbor and friend, Shannon. We went to a July 4th celebration yesterday and we just started rapping about life. I'll be honest, me and Shannon hung out probably last November
It was.
and went
Right.
to an event together, had a great time. And when I first saw him yesterday, July 4th, I didn't even recognize him because he's underwent a huge transformation, had a significant health event, and really has changed his life, by changing his mindset. And his story was so compelling to me. I thought it'd be great to share this with other people. We've had a lot of specialists on the show talking about the doctor angle and ways to improve, but sometimes the most powerful stories are hearing from people, everyday people, and what they've done to improve their health. So, welcome to the show, Shannon. Thank you so
Thank you.
much for stopping through,
Thank
man.
you.
It's great to have you, brother.
Anytime.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So let's just start with the basics. Before you had the life event, what was life like for you? Like, what was your day to day work-life balance? Were you someone that exercised? Were you eating healthy? Were you not? Like, what were you? What was your life before the event like?
Well, work life was very, very busy. And I'm sure, being a doctor, you hear it all the time. It's hard to fit in time
Mm.
to get in exercise,
Sure.
right? Working long hours, traveling. In my particular job, the demand was to be traveling 4 or 5 days out of the week.
Yeah.
Leave out on a Monday morning. I could be in 2 or 3 cities in a week, usually coming back on a Friday. On those time when you're home, you want to catch up with the family,
Sure.
you do, run errands and things like that. So not much working out. It's about 230 pounds at the time. So
2:30.
wasn't my wife would argue it was a little bit more. Right.
Okay.
So it's
Okay.
probably
Yeah.
233.
Yeah. The wives will keep you in line
Right.
if
She
you.
kept me in line. She
Yeah.
had to remind me that it
Yeah.
was 233.
Yeah. Okay.
So no, not much working out, but a lot of time just on the go, I would say. Life is busy enough as it is, but you add in work and add in a schedule that I had, you really don't have much time for anything else.
Yeah. So certainly extremely busy, a lot of stressors I'm hearing, not really doing a great job perhaps of watching what you eat.
Yeah,
Probably if you're on the road a lot and flying around a lot, you just eating whatever's available, whatever's easiest, right?
yeah. For the most part, right? You're eating in a lot of hotel lobbies. You're eating in at the hotel restaurants. They're not always that great.
Yeah.
Eating in the American Airlines, the lounge, still not always that great.
Sure.
Listen, and that's not fair to American. Do they offer some type of healthy options in those places?
Sure.
Yes, they do.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
But when you're on the go,
Yeah.
eating healthy at that time, at that stage in my life,
Yeah.
probably wasn't the first thing on my mind.
Respect. Yeah. I can hear that. And quite frankly, we've had several guests on, specialists talk to us about, hey, whatever is the easiest sometimes or the most colorful or
Yeah.
will give you that quick hit of energy isn't always the best thing for you. You know what I
Right.
mean? The cheaper option, the fastest option
Right.
isn't always the healthiest or most nutritious thing.
Right.
So, okay. So we covered a little bit about before the incident and then kind of give us the days leading up to the incident. How were you feeling? Did you notice anything? Was it kind of out of the blue?
Right. So it was a typical day, and it's weird because as I look back now, and I would talk about what was a job like, what was my day to day. It was a lot, very demanding, very stressful. And I remember having a discussion with it was either my doctor or my wife about stress level, and I remember saying that I don't know what it's like not to be stressed, right?
Mm,
So I didn't know what it was like to be stressed. That was my kind of my everyday.
yeah.
Leading up to the event, I was cooking dinner one night and I noticed that my right arm started flinching. It
Mm-hmm.
was it was jumping.
Interesting.
And I didn't know what it was. I was holding my arm to see if it would stop. I would lay down, I would go to sleep, it would stop for a little while, it would
Mhm.
come back. And this lasted until the next day.
Okay, so it wasn't short-lived, it was pretty several hours.
Several hours,
Yeah,
24 hours, right,
okay.
off and on. When it would stop, it would only stop for maybe 15, 20 minutes,
Mm,
and then it would start right back up
yeah,
for 24 hours. So
sure.
we had taekwondo practice for my daughter, and we were leaving, and instead of leaving, my wife went right. I was like, "Well, where is she going?" And we pulled up to the urgent care.
Wow. So this is a classic husband moment where you you had these symptoms and you were just ready to go. Hey, baby girl got a taekwondo practice. We just gonna go do that. You don't. You're not worried about your hand
Yeah,
misfiring
yeah,
and acting up. You ready to go, and your wife, someone else had to be that bigger person for you. Say, you know what, man,
she did.
we got to go get this checked out.
She did. I'm gonna
Thank,
take some
thank God.
aspirin. I'm gonna take some aspirin. It'll go away. I'm stressed. I need
Yeah,
to relax. Whatever.
yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to all the wives out there
Shout
taking
out
care
to
of
the
the
wife.
fellas. The brothers need y'all, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I got into the urgent care center, and they called me back. They ran some tests, blood work, things like that, and they came back and asked me what I did for a living, and ultimately they came back and said that I was highly stressed, and they said that you need to relax. We'll give you some muscle relaxers.
Okay.
You need to relax for the next couple of days, and then check back and schedule an appointment with your
Sure.
doctor. Right?
Yeah.
Do you want me to continue rolling
Yeah.
into
Yeah.
the
Continue, man. So, you had
so
that event. So I guess you go home after that.
so I go home. I traveled. I can't remember where I went. I was either in Miami or I think
Hmm.
can't remember. Don't hold me to that.
Sure.
But so I'm back home. It's on a Wednesday night. I remember like it was yesterday. It was about 9:30. My wife was reading to my daughter. We were laying in bed, and obviously, well, not obviously, I fell asleep. But I woke up to my wife saying, honey, can you wake up? Can you wake up?
Mm,
Honey, wake up, wake
mm,
up, wake up."
yeah.
And I remember coming up out of my sleep and looking at her as she's saying, "Honey, are you okay? Wake up, wake up, wake up." And I'm thinking in my mind, why is she waking me up?
Mm,
But I can't speak. So she started asking me a series of questions. At that point, she had called 911. She had 911 on the phone. She was talking to whomever that was on the other line to check a couple of things. Said, "Can he get up?" I think she tried to get me to get up, but she said I was trying to get up, but I wasn't acknowledging the fact of the other side of my body. I was trying to wake up only using the left side.
okay. Interesting. So the right side was really weak, or you
Just
didn't
couldn't I
even
didn't even acknowledge that
acknowledge
I
the
even
right side.
had one.
Interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think she said on the phone, no, he can't get up. And then so she was just talking through a couple of other things before I knew it, the ambulance was there. I think they went through a couple things. Can you feel this? Can you feel that? And then I remember trying to get up, or them saying to me, "Can you get up?" I'm assuming that at some point I was kind of coming out of it.
Okay.
So the ambulance, the gentleman that was driving the ambulance asked me if I could get up, and he was trying to help me. So I did stand up.
Okay.
So whatever that was,
It's
it went
temporary.
away.
It kind of went away on
Right,
the right side.
right. It went away. I got up. We walked downstairs out the front door, and we got in the back of the ambulance. Uh, and most of the discussions was with my wife at that point
Sure.
because I couldn't,
Were you still having trouble speaking at that
I
point?
could at that point I could speak, but it was very little. Like
Right.
I wasn't able to pronounce or have a full sentence, but I remember responding.
Yeah. And I'll just take a moment here to share with our listeners that that is some of the classic symptoms that you see with what we call a stroke or something called a TIA, which is like a mini stroke, but trouble finding your words,
Yeah,
or you can hear and you want to respond to people, but it's not right on the tip of your tongue.
right,
It's a real struggle to enunciate or get that word out, or
right,
sometimes you can't speak at all.
right.
And then similarly with the right-sided weakness, sometimes that can be permanent. Thank God it
Sure,
wasn't in this case, but
sure,
or you will notice that moving your arm or leg will be very weak and hard for you.
right,
And these are symptoms for anyone. If you ever experience something like this, you could be having a stroke, and please seek medical attention right away.
right. So the agreement was that they were going to drive me to Pineville because Pineville was a little bit closer.
Okay.
They wanted to administer the T and K.
Okay.
Right.
So TNK, just because
Yep. Sure.
we talked about
Sure.
TNK is a anti-thrombotic agent or something that dissolves clotting or things that cut off blood flow. So when you have a stroke or a TIA, a mini stroke, you can have temporary or permanent clotting or a compromise of the blood flow to portions of the brain.
Correct.
And TNK or other something called TPA can be used to open that clot up, dissolve the clot so that blood flow will pass through appropriately. So I just wanted to let y'all know what that was.
Right.
Right.
Right. So the plan was, hey, get him to Pineville, get the T&K, and then rush him downtown, which was another 20 minutes away.
Wow.
So, seeing these things on TV, and I'm alert enough to see what's going on. And as I think back, so they grabbed me when I came in, they rushed me back. There was a doctor on a teleprompter talking to me and my wife. They administered the T&K. They grabbed me and ran me back out, the ambulance.
Yeah.
Rushed me down. As soon as we got downtown, someone was there. They grabbed me and ran me back. And we were about to go into surgery when they said, no,
Yeah.
we're good. The T&K is working.
Yeah. So just to describe from a medical standpoint, what's happening here is time is brain tissue, right?
Yes.
So there's only a certain window they're allowed to administer that anti-clotting agent, that TPA or TNK. So they wanted to get that done. And perhaps at the place you were at, they could do that, but they couldn't do the surgery. So that's why they quickly rushed you to the other location, because maybe they could do the surgery there. And it's amazing, and I'm thankful that they didn't even need to do the surgery because the TPA actually worked. And the reason they're rushing is the longer you wait, the more likely of permanent loss of function or inability to move your arm or not be able to talk or, not getting back to who you were before. So I just want to highlight those things clinically that we do in the medical field.
And I also found out later that with that T&K, it's not guaranteed.
That's correct.
There's a 30% chance. So it's a 70-30. So my wife had to make a quick decision because they had that discussion and they explained to her, like,
risk.
There's a 30% chance that he doesn't make it.
Yeah. 30% chance you don't make it. But this is a anti-clotting or clot dissolving thing that can actually increase your risk of bleeding. So, your wife, another shout out to the wives out there, had to make a very critical decision.
And shout out to Serena.
Hey,
absolutely.
Shout out Miss Serena. So, because they probably said, hey, there's a 30% chance it doesn't work, but also there's a risk that it could cause some other bleeding problems. So, when it's critical like that, they usually will opt to do it because they don't want you to lose any brain tissue and you be permanently damaged for the rest of your life. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But I just wanted to highlight that's why that's so critical.
Absolutely. So obviously we were was in the operating room. We were about to go into surgery and they said no. So again, thank God for that. And it's a telling moment for me because at this time I'm still thinking this isn't real.
It's like surreal.
What is this? I'm like, what's the overreaction for? So obviously it was late at night. By this time it's 12 or 1 o'clock. I fall asleep. We wake up. Obviously my wife, my daughter's there. And I remember waking up in the hospital room and just observing the room. And I observed the room for a little while before I said anything. Again, my speech wasn't, at that point, I wasn't doing a lot of speaking anyway, but I noticed that I couldn't read.
Wow.
Nothing that was on the hospital walls, I couldn't read.
Yeah.
There was a television on. They had the word prompters. I couldn't read.
Yeah.
That's when I realized that this was real.
This is serious. And, I just keep highlighting these things because it's so amazing how God made the brain, because there's a portion of your brain dedicated to language comprehension. So when you're reading something or someone says something to you, you need to understand that, right? You have to interpret that, right? So that can be damaged, or the ability to speak can be damaged, right? Like, so you understand it fine, but it takes you a really long amount of time to get the words back out, right? I can hear you, but I can't get it out. I can't speak back to you, you know what I mean? So, and sometimes in strokes, both parts can be damaged, but I just want to highlight for the listeners how complicated strokes are and how devastating they can be if you have permanent damage to these areas of your brain.
Big time.
Yeah.
So a couple days went by. It progressively it got better slowly. It wasn't very quick. We I think a week later is a week before Thanksgiving, and I remember, we had made plans for some family to come in town,
Yeah.
and we didn't want to cancel it. We didn't want to spoil
Sure.
everybody's, actually the fact that I was still here,
Hey,
right? Right.
amen. Hey,
So
that's
we
we
we turned it into a celebration,
all
right?
right.
So
Celebration of life.
right. And another defining moment for me was, I said, I'm home. It's
Yeah.
my house. I
Yeah.
want to bless the food.
I like
I couldn't bless the food. I
man.
couldn't
Man.
even I
You give me
couldn't
goosebumps, man. Like that's just
I
tough.
couldn't even say the Lord's Prayer.
Yeah.
So, obviously a lot of family coming around, a lot of prayer and things like that. But after after that, there was a battery of tests, right? Every test you can think of from A to Z.
Yeah.
So many doctor's appointments, and everything was fine. One thing that they did find out is that I had sleep apnea.
Okay.
Right, we did a sleep test, so
Sure.
we found out that we had a sleep apnea. I had sleep apnea, but cholesterol was fine. Blood pressure was manageable,
Good.
was in
Good.
line, and then so I said to myself, I did need to do an internal audit
Hmm.
on myself.
Yeah.
Right, the doctors said everything's fine. I'm thinking that doesn't work for me because something did happen.
Right.
There's
Right.
something's not
I mean,
right.
that's right. Yeah.
Right. So, and listen, I think I knew, stress related job, travel. I think that all the stars aligned, and everything just aligned at the right time for
Yeah.
me, and hence the stroke.
Yeah.
So I decided to change up everything about the way I was moving in life,
Mm.
right? And starting with, the things that I put in my body.
Well said. I think that you are what you eat, right? I
Yeah.
mean, if you eating nonsense, you're gonna get nonsense in your life, right?
What you're gonna
So,
get.
very
Right.
good. So,
Right.
so tell me about that transition and kind of reshaping your mind around food and
So I started doing a lot of studying, right? Because, so many people say I got to diet. But I wanted to, you know, we've all dieted. I've never been a huge person, right? But 230 pounds is considered to be a little bit obese,
sure.
right? So I wanted to drill down a little bit further than just the typical diet. I said I needed to change a couple things. So I started doing a little bit of research. I started looking into fasting,
Mm.
like the benefits of fasting and how you go about fasting. And then, so what happened was, the first thing I did was, and I probably shouldn't have done it, it's against my doctor's will, but I took I did a 72-hour fast.
Wow.
Well, I started fasting first.
Okay.
Started fasting, intermittent fasting,
Okay.
right? I didn't eat anything after 6 and before 12. So my eating window was 12 o'clock and nothing later than 6 o'clock.
Because as someone who I do a partial intermittent fast, like
Oh,
it isn't easy to just
no.
start intermittent fasting. So tell us about that transition, right? Like, how was it like that first few days trying to implement the intermittent fasting?
No, it's not easy at all because we've all been trained that breakfast is such an important part of the day, right?
Sure.
Like everyone eats breakfast, whether it's, and there are healthy options again,
Mhm.
right? But I felt that the intermittent fasting, there's so many health benefits to your body, but I took it as a challenge to myself to say, you escaped one time. Like you don't want to, you got by one time, there's high probability that if you had a stroke, that you probably
Have
could have
another one.
another one
Yeah.
if you don't make
Yeah.
changes.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So I didn't, well, I have a wife. I've got a 10-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
I wanna be around for a
That's
little
right.
while.
Yeah.
I'm not a super old man. I'm not ready to go yet.
How old are you?
I'm 55.
55. So
Right.
you got several more years.
Yeah. So I'm a young 55,
Yeah,
right?
that's
So
right.
I wanna be around for a while.
Yeah.
So it was difficult because you have those hunger urges and I think it's all mental,
Hmm.
right? And I think that for me, it was training my mind that I'm in control.
Okay.
So once I got to the point where I was training my mind that I'm in control and those hunger urges that I was having was not really what it was because I wasn't really hungry.
Sure.
It was habitual.
Habitual habit. You're
Right.
just used to
Right.
eating that much. Yeah.
Right. And then I started going into, okay, what should I be eating? Doing the fasting.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
berries,
Yeah.
fruits,
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah.
So once I got there, I started dropping weight. I was a little bit over 230.
So we're talking about November when this occurred.
Middle of
So
November.
at 2:30 in November, and then
Yep. I think within the first 90 days, I had dropped 15 pounds.
wow. Okay.
15
Yeah.
pounds just from changing my eating habits. And listen, again, not to backtrack, totally drinking any type of alcohol
Yeah.
out of my diet.
Yeah. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. And you weren't a smoker before, were
I've
you?
never been a
Never smoked
smoker,
before, yeah.
not even a heavy drinker,
Sure.
but
But you just decided, hey, I'm not gonna. I just
I
need to
don't
make.
want
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
want
Yeah.
any parts of it. So working out,
Mm-hmm.
walking, a little bit of lightweight lifting.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
talked about doing
Yeah.
push-ups and
Yeah.
things
Yeah.
like that. So after I started turning my mind, and I guess my body understood that, okay, he is in control.
Mm,
That was the biggest hurdle.
yeah.
And now, like, I'm still losing weight, and I'm not even trying to lose weight. So
If you don't mind me, how much are we weighing now?
this morning I was on the scale as 184 pounds.
184 pounds. It was 230.
Yeah. I was ask my wife though, a little bit over, so probably 233. Right.
The wife may say over 230, but
Right,
we're going to
right,
take a round number and say
right.
230.
Yeah.
And we're at
184. Listen to you.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
That's really good. Without medication,
No.
bariatric surgery,
No.
anything like that. This is a
No.
mindset change and changing your relationship with food.
Yeah.
So I do want to make a point here. Intermittent fasting has been linked to several different benefits, lowering your risk of diabetes, changing how your body handles glucose. Glucose is a molecule we need. It's a macronutrient, but if it's taken improperly, you get too much or you're getting a lot of added sugar, it can increase your risk of all sorts of things, including diabetes and obesity. So intermittent fasting has a lot of benefits. I always caution everyone to talk to your own doctor. This is not personalized medical advice. It doesn't work for everybody, but just pointing out that you should read on intermittent fasting because there are some great health benefits for it. And then secondly, he mentioned eating a lot of berries and fruits and stuff like that. I mean, the research and data on that stuff is phenomenal. I mean, antioxidant, you're talking about preventing cancer. I won't say anti-aging, but some stuff that can slow the rate of deterioration of stuff in your body. And when you get the sugar from things like berries, as opposed to added sugars from candy and snacks and all that crap, there's a lot of fiber and other natural ingredients in there that keep that sugar stable at a healthy rate, not a high rise that contributes to all sorts of things. So I just want to point out that intermittent fasting has a lot of great stuff linked to it. It's not for everybody, but read about it and see if it applies to your situation.
Right.
So,
right. No, it's super important. I've been on this health kick.
Yeah.
Super laser focused on it. And I did have the opportunity to take the weight loss shot.
GLP-1
pill,
or
right? I think it was
something
Wegovy.
Wegovy, yeah.
And I looked at my doctor and I said, I want to try first.
Wow. Yeah.
I think the benefit or the satisfaction that dopamine the feeling is so much stronger
When you know you did it yourself.
when I did it myself
Yeah.
without anyone's help. I'm not knocking it for anyone, but I'm
Not at
saying
all.
for me
Not at all.
personally,
Yeah.
to do it on my own.
Yeah.
And I'm at the point where now, again, I'm losing weight without even trying.
And I think that's a great testament to your willpower and you making a shift in your mind. You guys know, how Dr. Corday is. If you listen to the show, I'm not about fat shaming. I'm not about making fun of people on GLP-1s. That's not what it's about.
No.
We're just sharing stories to inspire other people to do the same if they choose to.
Sure.
But yeah, I love your conviction, in that moment after having a major health event and your doctor's like, hey, we could do this. And you're like, you know what, doc? I need to make some changes internally, right? I don't even want that. I just, can I try it myself first?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And I just think that's a powerful.
No.
We were talking yesterday, guys, during July 4th, and his story it moved me. So I really wanted him on the podcast. So go ahead.
No, again, and I told my doctor, I said, if I try and I can't do it on my own, maybe
Yeah, you're
that's
willing to do it. You weren't just rejecting
right,
science and medicine or the doctor. You said, I just know I can do better and I want
right,
to do this. So
right.
very good. So now, how long have you been on this journey now with these changes?
It's probably say 7 months.
7 months.
Yeah.
And what are you talked about your life before.
Mhm.
What are the health benefits that you perceive now? Like, are you noticing different things? So the weight loss makes you feel good, right? It makes you look good, right?
Yeah.
But are you noticing other benefits with these changes you've made in your life?
No, I mean, I feel great. I will say, I mean, this is an adult channel,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Coming out of a stroke, like there's major ED problems,
Mm.
right? So that was something I wasn't,
Considering,
it was no educational. I didn't know,
yeah,
right? Like
yeah.
you don't know until
Until,
it's
yeah,
in front of
until
you,
it's a
right?
major issue. Yeah, yeah.
Right. So I think that luckily that's not a problem
Oh,
anymore.
very
Right.
good, very good. We're
Right.
back.
Right.
Okay,
That's not a
great.
problem
Okay,
anymore. But and it was because of the stroke
yeah,
and your body needed to reprogram itself.
yeah.
So that's why that was. And I did the research on that and I found out why. But
I,
go ahead.
I was just going to highlight the ED, erectile dysfunction, is something linked to high blood pressure, obesity,
Yes.
diabetes, stroke, and heart issues. I mean, all that stuff is linked. So I'll just make a quick point here that a lot of patients that I see for other things will say, hey, this is happening, this is happening. It's like, well, you are overweight, unfortunately. You do have high blood pressure. You have had strokes. And these things can actually be causing erectile dysfunction, right? I know
Sure.
our men, brothers, you know how we are. That's if you don't care about anything, you care about that,
That
right?
right.
So,
Yeah.
just letting you know that you could be putting that at risk. So, just
Yeah.
pointing that out there.
Yeah. No, I mean, physically, I feel great. I feel there's always a satisfaction to know that, I get a lot of folks that asked,
Yeah.
"Hey, what
What?
how did you do that?"
Hey, what's the secret sauce, man?
Right, right.
Yeah.
And listen, I would say to all of the listeners is that you would if you can if you can get it in your mind that you want to take control of what your body wants,
Hmm.
because that's all it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Making your mind know that you're in control and those urges most of the time are just that,
Yeah.
just urges.
Tell me, because I like to. I imagine people listening to this would love to hear like a normal day. Give me just a normal day of, I know you say you start eating at 12,
Yeah,
you say you're not eating in that morning at 12. What's something you may eat at 12? And then your workout regimen. We offline, we had talked about push-ups and going for a walk. Like,
right.
just tell me like a normal day, what that may look like with these changes you think.
Well, no, I mean, I'm up at 5 o'clock every morning, so just imagine from 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock, right? So
Hmm.
there's a little bit of a workout there,
Okay.
and to be honest, I don't even feel the urge to eat.
Yeah.
Like, so I've turned my mind, as we had a discussion
Hmm.
yesterday. I don't even have the urge to eat anymore
Yeah.
until around noon.
Yeah. The body's crazy like that.
I've taught the
Yeah.
body that
Yeah.
we don't want food until 12
Yeah.
o'clock.
Your body will actually change and
Yes.
reorient, your eating process if you
Yes.
continue to do that. That's crazy. Go ahead.
Yes. And even at that, with the workout, I don't get to work out as much as I can, but I try to fit it in
Oh yeah.
and even if it's at home up in the office doing some sit-ups,
Sit-ups.
anything, there's power in doing sit-ups as well.
I mean, anything is better than sitting on the couch,
Right.
eating potato chips,
Right.
right?
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, 12 o'clock, I'll have berries, yogurt, and granola, and sometimes I'll do peanut butter,
Okay.
real peanut butter, not the peanut butter that goes with the peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Yeah, yeah.
Real
Legitimate,
peanut butter.
natural peanut
Right,
butter. Very good.
right, right.
Yeah.
And then in the afternoons, it's usually light, right? Proteins, things like that. A lot of vegetables.
Mhm.
We've been eating a lot of, and I'm finding out the benefits of sweet potatoes. Sweet
Oh,
potatoes
oh,
are
I'm
wonderful.
I'm a sweet potato enthusiast. You don't have to convince me,
So
Shannon. I'm a
right,
huge sweet
right.
potato guy. Yeah.
I found every way to make a sweet potato. You
Roast, bake.
bake it.
I mean, how you
Have
want to do it? Like,
Right. Cut up a steak
yeah,
or a slice of
yeah.
chicken and lay it in the baked
Man,
potato with egg,
my wife makes a sweet.
avocado.
I love all of it. My
Yeah,
wife makes a sweet potato hummus.
really.
Man, so you can dip, carrots or
Okay.
something healthy. Anyway, it's just edifying your
Right.
statements about sweet
Right.
potatoes. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So
I'm a believer.
yeah, I am very, very much so as
Yeah.
well. So some snacks may be nuts.
Okay.
I do peanuts
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and things like that.
Yeah.
I don't want to sit before any listeners here and paint a picture that I don't cheat from time to
Oh,
time.
of course. You're human.
Because right, I do have an urge from time to time. I do, again, I have a wife, I have a 10-year-old,
Sure.
so sometimes I do, but by and large,
You try to stick to that most of
my
the time.
routine is my routine,
Yeah.
and I don't really.
I think that's powerful,
Yeah.
man. I think one thing is your willpower, reshaping your body, your mind with this discipline, but then being honest too that, hey, sometimes, man, my daughter will have something and she'll be like, Daddy, I'll eat some
Yeah.
of her ice cream or whatever. I'll do whatever. And I'm not perfect. I'm not
Right.
just, we're not trying to put a front on for the listeners. This
Right.
is
No.
real life. We eat stuff, but most of the time you're making healthy deposits.
Right.
So that when you do make a withdrawal,
Right.
you're not in the negative, right?
Right. And hey, listen, yes, we were at a 4th of July
Yes,
party
we were.
yesterday. Right. So
We had a
right,
good time,
right.
guys.
We had a good time,
Yeah.
and it's about consumption and how much of it.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely,
So
absolutely.
we don't. I don't really veer outside of that.
Yeah.
And so again, I'm at 184 pounds.
Yeah.
My goal was to get down to about 200 pounds.
Wow, blew
And
through that.
I'm 16 pounds below that,
Yeah.
and still,
Yeah.
right? Like I can't fit in any clothes.
Yeah, man, that's
Right,
crazy.
right.
Yeah.
And I really haven't bought a lot because I don't really know where I'm gonna
Where you gonna end
land,
up, yeah.
where
Yeah.
I'm gonna get to a point where this is it.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to, always been a kind of stocky guy.
Sure.
I didn't want to. I'm almost to the point where like high school or college day, like that size.
Oh wow.
Right?
Yeah,
So
yeah. So it's
that's
impressive.
right.
And for the listeners out there, I talked to you about this yesterday when
Yeah.
we talked about this, is that's where the making sure you're getting enough protein, healthy fats,
Yeah.
working out is important as well, because you can lose too much, right?
Sure.
Where you're pulling on your reserves and your healthy fats and your healthy bone mass and stuff like that, and you get to where you're not as you don't want to be undernourished either.
Sure.
You see what I'm saying? So
Right. That's important.
yeah, so always important for resistance training, 2 to 3 times a week, doing some type of lifting exercise. It can be minimal, but you want to reserve and preserve the muscle you do have, especially as we get a little older, fellas and ladies out there.
Yeah.
So those things are important.
Yeah, whenever you can get it in. This morning I got up and I wanted to do a little walk, and I was doing a little bit of meditating, and I had stopped my meditating, and it was before I was going to start. And I just dropped down right on the front porch and started doing
Go ahead and
push-ups.
knock out.
Right, just get them out of the way.
Yeah.
And I think I know that after time, those things will happen more and more often
Oh, man.
because you'll just get it in.
On one of my first podcast sessions, I was joking. I said to them, I'm really big on low investment things. You didn't have to drive to the gym to do those push-ups, right? You were just in the moment. You're like, I'm gonna knock out 20. I'm gonna do 30 push-ups, right? And it didn't cost you much, but you're putting that in a bank. You know what I mean? Like you're putting that in a bank, and
Absolutely.
I'm a big believer. I also think, I just thought about this while you were talking. There's so many benefits from that few push-ups you just did.
Oh yeah.
Your heart health, your muscle health, right? It releases endorphins. People that struggle with anxiety and depression, helps you sleep better. There's all these things that's been linked to people that work out regularly. And it doesn't have to be an hour at the gym. Like
No.
just doing 15, 20 minutes throughout the day can really improve your quality of life. So I'm a big believer in things like push-ups, squats, light weights, going for walks. These are low-hanging fruit that you can acquire and add to your daily routine.
Yes, there's so much information out there. And to your point, earlier this week, I was listening to a doctor on YouTube talking about the power of just doing push-ups. There's so many benefits. It's 2026. The information is at your fingertips, right? There's no reason why you can't just pick up the phone.
Man, you guys, it's so funny you talk, because you may be referencing this article I read last week, where they're basically saying that if you're a grown man and you can do, I think it's like over 30 push-ups consecutively, right? That's the article.
That's it. That's the article.
It was like you can decrease your risk of like having a death or cardiac event.
That's it.
Over the next several years. Like if you know you can drop down and give somebody 30 push-ups, you are less likely to have a significant health event in the next several years. It's
That's
it's
the
it's
order.
tremendous. Yeah.
Yeah.
So to me, I look at it like a challenge. Like you said earlier, I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, 20. I'm
Right.
winded. Like,
Right.
like,
Right.
Dr. Corday don't got it. Like you said, yeah,
Right.
I
Right.
did 20. Like,
Right.
can I get 30? You know what I mean?
Right.
And
Right.
not only is it helping you feel good and look good, but it actually helps your overall health. Right. It's a
Absolutely.
function. It's a way you can measure your heart health and how you're doing overall. So for all my guys and ladies out there, get to where you can do start, everybody's different. We all have health issues. We all have different things we're dealing with, but start small, man. Can you
Start
can
with
you do
5.
five? Yeah.
Right.
Can you do
Right.
five? Let's just do five
Absolutely.
push-ups. Challenge your coworkers. Hey, I'll do 10 if you can do 10. I'll make y'all laugh. The ladies at my job, they do squats for lunch, right?
Right.
So before they go to lunch, they compete and they all do squats and say, well, I got 15, I got 20, so,
Right.
but it's something communal. They're doing it,
Yeah.
functionally with other people,
Mhm.
and it makes it more interesting and fun. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
But they're getting health benefits. Squats have
There you
been
go.
linked to all kind of great health benefits. So
Huge health
huge,
benefits.
huge,
Right.
huge believer in that. And that's so funny you referenced that article because I'm gonna start a push-up challenge, guys. I'm gonna do some push-ups and send it to people on social media and say, hey, Dr. So and so, hey, whoever,
Yeah.
let's do a push-up challenge. I did my 20, give me 20. You know what I mean? Or
There you
something
go.
like
No,
that.
you're right.
Yeah.
I had a conversation with my son, and I told him, "Hey, it's my 100 push-ups for the day," and he
Yeah.
was like, "Dad, you're making me feel bad. Like I did 50 and you did
Hey,
100,
hey,
but
man,
hey, here
listen.
you go."
And I don't know about you, because we didn't hit on how you feel, like your energy level and like your thought clarity, or like when I go for a walk in the morning, or I get a really good workout, or like those endorphins, like it's almost addictive, right? Like it
It
makes you
is
feel good. Like I actually feel better. Like sometimes when I haven't worked out in 2 to 3 days, right? Work's been
sluggish.
crazy. I get kind of sluggish, and I can tell I'm not quite myself. I'm not quite as sharp.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody else has this, but I can tell, like, man, I knock out some push-ups, I get in the gym, throw some weights around a little bit, I feel different.
I feel great. This morning's walk and after the push-ups, I hadn't in a couple days. I hadn't walked in a couple of days,
Yeah.
and I hadn't done push-ups, and I still have some more to do when I get
Yeah,
back
you got
home.
some more in the bank? Yeah,
I feel great. The clarity and the way I feel physically,
yeah,
it's like you said, it's addictive.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it really the weight loss really changed my life,
yeah,
and it kept me above ground.
yeah,
Right.
I love it, man. So, I just wanna end by asking if there's someone out there, man, they had a significant life event, they had a stroke, they're struggling with weight, man, they're struggling with high blood pressure,
Yeah.
their doctor's about to put them on another med for something
Right.
else. What would you tell them, to get to where you are? What was the biggest thing, and how would you encourage them or inspire them in that moment? What would you say to them?
Well, I think it's super important to find out what your why is because everybody has a different reason,
Mm,
right?
yeah,
For me to have a stroke, being relatively healthy all of my
mm,
life, and my wife having to wake me up, never been in an ambulance before,
wow,
waking up in a hospital, not being able to read, seeing my 10-year-old daughter
yeah,
and my
yeah,
wife, and there, I can't remember exactly when it was, but I saw a video of a gentleman that had had a stroke, and he was home, but he had obviously had some damage,
sure.
and he was asking his wife something along the lines of, pay bills or
Wow,
how are we gonna take care of. He didn't. You can tell that he was feeling the effects from the stroke.
yeah.
It just really touched me. That
It's giving me
really,
goosebumps hearing you talk
it
about it,
really,
like,
it really touched
yeah,
right. And
yeah,
and I said to myself is that if something happens, things happen in life that we can't control.
sure.
So what I said to myself is that I'm gonna do everything I can to control.
I love it,
Yeah,
man. I love it,
yeah,
man. Shannon, I appreciate you so
yeah.
much for being on my
I
show, man. Your
appreciate you.
story is so inspiring and just so many moments. And I would say before signing off, let's all commit to, 5 to 10 push-ups a day. Like maybe that's our thing this week, guys. We're gonna say, hey, we're gonna do 5 to 10 a day, and then we're gonna read about intermittent fasting if that's something that will be something we can implement to change our lives. And we'll come back and talk about it next time. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you, Shannon, for coming on the show.
Happy
We'll
to
probably
be
have
here.
you back. You guys take care of yourself and take care of your people. Thank you for tuning in to the Doctor Next Door. If this was impactful or helpful for you, please like, share, comment on the show. All right. Y'all take it easy.